All right, welcome back. It's that DDF podcast. We're coming in for that post week 2, and so this week we got BK, we got the commish, Top Dog Nick, and Blake today. Blake is remote this time around, so interesting if you can see the video, or if you're audio listeners, the audio might be a little different. But this week, is Kirk Cousins actually clutch right now?
Oh,
I don't know.
That's
Showed it.
like
Showed it.
You showed
Go
it.
Chains.
Kirk go Chains, baby. And then we also had Tua yet again going down with that concussion. Horrifying.
How the hell is he not wearing a Guardian cap?
How?
That should be wearing that be mandatory by Goodell.
Well, and then are the Cowboys already fraudulent?
Yes. As a Cowboys fan, yes.
without hesitation. I love that.
Yeah. But there are only really 3 sure things in life right now when it comes to football. Deshaun Watson is an asshole, the Chiefs get referee assistance in close games, and I underperform in week 2. Let's go, baby. Only 123 points this
Football's
week
back,
for me.
baby.
Only
Not
120.
underperforming. That's what you did last week too.
No, I got like 145 last week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I got 145 with the win. This week, 123 with the loss, and good old Keon Coleman with the big old 0 points coming in.
Yeah, that game got out of hand for them. Like, they just started running the ball. Like, there's not a lot
Yeah.
you can do. Josh Allen didn't do a lot for me either.
Yeah, so the Bills coming in with a strong run game right now.
It's game script. Like, if they can establish a lead and just run the ball at will like they can against Miami, whose defense is overrated, like, they'll easily just run the ball all they can. The only trouble they're going to run into is if they ever get down. Like,
Devin Singletary and don't have to worry about getting him carries, and they can focus on James Cook.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
if they have to come back from like any kind of deficit, then it's going to be tricky.
Yeah.
But
But boys, you heard how I did. Underperforming, as always, in the week 2. I think it's this historical trend. How did everyone do this week?
Well,
I mean,
obviously, as the guy that faced you this week, I am now 2-0. Like I said, I knew I wasn't going to put anywhere close to what I put up last week. Definitely got hit with a couple of injuries this week. Quite a few injuries this week that, subdued me a little bit. I made a great move, swapping out DeAndre Swift for Malik Neighbors. Paid off for me. Danny Dimes actually decided he wanted to throw some touchdowns, even though they still lost that game. First game in NFL history. To have 3+ touchdowns and allow 0 touchdowns and lose in regulation. But that's the Giants for you right now.
yep.
I don't really care what their record is as long as Danny Dimes keeps throwing to my guy. I'll keep playing him. So I was definitely wrong last week on calling my flex spot a 0 because they showed out. Cooper Kupp, once again, on that injury list. I'm sure we'll talk about the injuries more in this podcast because they are running wild already, and it's only week 2, going into week 3. So, holy crap.
Yeah. I mean, I can go next. I won. I played Scott. I mentioned this last week that there was a trade that I was holding off on trading Jordan Mason to Scotty because I was playing him. I chose not to trade him, and he put up like 20 points against Scotty, helping me beat him, which is pretty nice. And I paid Scotty back by trading him this week for a future second-round pick. So I'm okay with that, to be honest.
Just in time to face his rival.
Totally fine with screwing over Nick. It's fine by me. The more games you lose, the happier I am. So we'll see what happens come rivalry week. That'll be a big special day for me, and I can't wait to maybe beat you. I don't know. Probably not. My players are starting to get hurt too. So let's move on to the next person.
Well, before we jump over it, we'll have Kyle go next. But before we jumping into that is an interesting point you bring up that we didn't really talk about in past weeks, is being Dynasty, you have the possibility to trade picks. So we didn't dive too much into that, but having that power of being able to say, hey, I will give you this. Maybe it's an older guy, or maybe it's a second stringer who's just getting the spotlight right now because their number 1 back is out. You can use that to trade a pick which you can't really most of the time. In most leagues, you don't have that possibility. So it's a cool little additional little feature of being a dynasty league that you have, where you can leverage first round, second round, third round picks.
Wait, you can trade picks? I had no idea.
Well, it's not for you to know; it's for everybody else to know. But
You just receive all of the picks.
yeah, basically,
I just
what
get all
Ryan
of them.
was
I don't
saying,
actually trade mine.
all we have to do, but like it's Dynasty is pretty nice in that way. Like you don't have to trade up any of your current assets for a player that you might want that year to help you out. You could trade future assets, things that don't mean anything yet, but as the year progresses, those picks become more and more valuable. So, like, you want to hang on to those for our rookie draft. That's a good chance to help you improve with like the newest, best rookies that are coming into the league. However, you have to weigh that against like trading that for whatever you want to put you over the top of that current year. Like Matt, for instance, he did that last year. He was trading a bunch of his picks because he wanted to try to make a last-minute push to try to win it. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. He lost to a dude who somehow traded his assets and still won it. So, some people are good at hoarding picks, namely Blake and Ryan. They both have two.
I mean, I wouldn't call it hoarding.
Picks.
It's just 3 picks in the first round 2 years in a row. I mean, that's not hoarding.
It's fucking hoarding.
I might have a problem.
Hoarder.
In my case, it was overvaluation of Calvin Ridley 2 years ago.
I took advantage of it and made me happy.
Anywho,
let's get back to that. Kyle, how'd you do this week?
I did very well. I was the top scorer this week with a whopping 198 points and some change. I definitely called out my zero. It was Mr. Dell, which I'm not surprised by that. So he's going to be definitely somebody I move off my league here. But I had a really good day across the board with everybody. And of course, it helps when Aiden Hutchinson gets 4.5 sacks on Baker. Put up a whopping 28 points for me. So, which is good because it always feels good to beat a stumper, particularly when it's Joe. All day.
I wish I knew.
I'll take that all day. And, having that point total, granted, it's early in the season. And jumping up to the third place team so far. Granted, it's week 2, but it feels good. It was good to have a dominating bounce back win.
Just keep in mind that I went 5-0 last year and then lost almost every other game the rest of the year.
Right now, I feel good about it. So,
we'll see how it goes.
Exactly.
but Blake, why don't you round us all out? How did we do this week?
I mean, I won. That's really all that actually matters. But my back CD stack is disappointing heavily, much like the team that I root for. So that's always great. And I didn't call out who was going to be critical, which was Brian Robinson, hence my name. And him performing actually is pretty much what I attribute me beating Matt to. Derrick Henry still hasn't done jack because apparently they don't like to run against the freaking Raiders. And I got lucky that AJ Brown was out. So Devonta Smith got a lot of love, and which counteracted him having Jalen Hurts. So it worked out for me.
16 points is doing nothing from a running back. Man, I wish I had that problem.
I mean, I'll be back in the bucket pretty soon, dude.
Derrick Henry put up 16 points this week.
What? Okay.
Derrick
You
Henry.
didn't do Derrick Henry things, is what I'm saying. Against
Yeah,
somebody
right. He only
like
got a
the
touchdown.
Raiders, that should have been 20 points easy.
The whole team should have beat the Raiders. Like, that's a bigger issue.
That's true. But also, like,
Ask
my
Scotty
best
how he
defensive
feels about
player
Lamar
is...
Jackson.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm loving Max Crosby with all my heart. It's not just because he's one of the very few white defensive linemen.
That's just racist. I don't even know why you even went there.
Yeah,
No.
that was.
I mean, his nickname is Affirmative Action.
I mean, both the Bengals pass rushers are fucking white. Like, there's other guys.
TJ
Aiden Hutchinson,
Watt,
especially.
AJ
TJ
Yeah,
Watt.
that's-
There's other dudes.
Anzalone.
4.5 sacks.
And
Hutch,
also, and then
But I mean,
I still suck. With
I would
linemen.
love Max Crosby right now too. He
Max
put up.
Crosby's
Yeah.
awesome. Like, there's no denying it. Like, he's one of the
He is
best
their entire
defensive
defense.
linemen in the league.
He's
Oh,
their
yeah.
whole defense.
I mean, Robert Spillane's a decent linebacker, but that's about it.
I mean, to give you an idea of how well Max Crosby did, I only had one player that scored more points than Max Crosby did. So,
Really? Ooh,
yeah.
that's tough.
Max Crosby
Yeah,
had over
not a great
20
week.
points.
Oh
20
shit!
and a half.
Yeah, Max Crosby put up 20 and a half.
God damn, that's gonna be better than my running backs going forward.
That's let's see if I can do math here. That's only 7 points off of my total running back score. So
Total?
total,
Good lord, man.
yeah, put up 27.7 from the running backs this week. So
Oh.
So what you're saying
Well,
is it
it's all
did
for-
not go
It's
well.
all rebuilding for next year.
no, I looked at the week in review. I was the lowest scoring this week. So loving life.
It also tells us the efficiency too. Like, I was the most efficient, which doesn't mean much because I still Kyle would have scored over 200 points if he was the most efficient. Like,
Yeah.
Kyle would have had the most points scored so far.
Hey, listen, if
I
Nick
was
It would have
Sirianni,
been 220,
Can't say shit.
221.
listen, if Sirianni would have kicked that easy field goal in the first quarter instead of going for it in 4th and 4, I would have been in the 200.
he's just a bad coach.
So fuck him and fuck Big Dom back to the team.
I agree. I said that on our first episode, but I also said something about somebody getting their head cut off too. So I mean, you probably have to cut that going forward.
Well, yeah, I'll make sure we cut that next time.
We'll get
Yeah,
that.
I don't condone decapitations in public squares, but I mean, it's just something I predicted for the Brazil game. But that's
If
not
it happens, it happens.
But that does sound like a terrible injury. And speaking of injuries,
What a segue!
oh my goodness.
Only
Holy
week 2,
shit.
and some major players already down.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking week 1 and 2 collectively, they would kick me in the balls, man. I lost Puka Nakua immediately. I think I lost it before the season even started with that damn Bursa sack on his knee. I think it's Cooper Kupp putting his bad luck on him, honestly. I lost Keenan Allen, Old Man Allen, to whatever the hell's wrong with him. Age, I think, something like that. And goddamn, I don't both my tight ends. Well, one of them, David Njoku, legitimately got hurt because his quarterback tried to kill him, and the other one I wish was hurt because that would be the only reason that would explain his current scoring. Travis Kelce, I hate you. I seriously hate you.
I hate Mahomes.
But I mean, but beyond those two players, I think I'm relatively okay. My running backs are always an injury risk, so I mean, it's only a matter of time. But those are the two main injuries that I got, Puka Nakua and Keenan Allen at the moment. Josh Allen might get hurt at some point too, and then I have to start Caleb Williams, and then I'll be really screwed on the year. But I think I did pretty well in the injury department. I can't say the same for the rest of y'all because I don't know what your teams have. So, who's next? How did the injuries...
I'll go next since you brought up Cup. Speaking of Cup, looks like Puka said, if I'm going down, you're coming with me. Because Cup's going to be out, looks like for at least a little while. Not sure if he's going to IR. Sounds like he's gonna, so at least 4 games. Got hit with a defensive injury, which was Anzalone. But if Highsmith keeps doing that, that's not that big of a loss. Joe Mixon, still trying to figure out what's going on with him. Nobody's given a for sure update whether he's good to go.
I heard it wasn't too serious.
Yeah, it said he missed a serious injury, but with another ankle injury like that, you know that they're always playing it cautious lately with
they'll
those
probably
ankle
keep him
injuries.
I think they'll probably keep him out at least a game.
Yeah, which is going to hurt because I don't have a whole lot of backup running back options right now.
Hopefully they hold him out for 3 weeks.
And then that trade with my brother's going to come back to bite me in the ass because DeAndre Swift ain't doing shit, and Tua Tagovailoa got placed on the IR, and who knows if he's ever going to play football again. So why he's not wearing a Guardian helmet at all times, I have no clue. That should have been mandatory after his 3rd concussion. He's got 4 in the last 5 years, so I'm not sure if the commissioner can flat out say, hey, for safety reasons, I'm not allowing you to come back. Not sure if he has that power, but for that kid's sake, so he can still, function later in life, he might want to think about hanging up the pads or do what Caleb Williams did in Hard Knocks and bring out a slip and slide so you can learn how to slide properly. Not dive head first into a defender, but, we'll see. Time will only tell.
I think that's the thing that scares me most about Tua. It's not like a minor concussion. Like, these are major. Like, he's going into that fencing position, like the tense hands and everything. Like, those are serious concussions.
Absolutely.
I saw that they obviously put him on IR, but they said that they threw in the extra caveat that, like, they're going to make him, or maybe not make him, but he's going to be seeing like a neurologist just to double check and see where his brain's at. He already said that he doesn't plan to retire, so I mean, like, obviously,
I heard
you want him to protect
crazy.
himself for long periods of time. But I mean, the NFL's never looked out for their players long term beyond them playing, so I wouldn't count on the commissioner getting involved and like stopping him from himself.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
not just that. I mean, think about it. That's loss of revenue for that player. Like, how are you going to subsidize his paychecks? You
can't stop him from working if he's like healthy.
So it's one of those situations, though, where it's some people don't know when enough is enough, and somebody's got to say it for them. So see what these doctors advise him to do, and see what he listens to.
Yeah, look at Merrill Hodge, right? Former Steeler.
Look at Luke Kuechly.
Yeah, like that guy ended a fantastic career early just because of his concussions.
Yep. Yeah, and that last one was just like made him start bawling in the middle of the field, and then because he probably knew his career was over at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, AJ Brown probably should have called it when he got that concussion against Cincinnati, because he was not the same person after that.
When did that happen?
Sorry, Antonio Brown.
I'm not remembering.
Antonio Brown. Oof.
Sorry, I got my Browns mixed up. Last name Brown.
Hey.
There you go. Good save.
Easy.
Good save.
Yeah, I'm gonna call that Blake.
Just edit that. Just edit that. Just edit that.
No,
You're
edit
good.
Yeah.
Keep that in.
But he'll probably say it.
One of those Browns.
but yeah, I mean, Antonio Brown just was. That's when we kind of saw his mood, his personality completely change. Was that concussion against Cincinnati? I don't know if anyone else knows that, but
I think he was always a loon, but like then he just went off the rails.
Oh yeah.
That's payback for him jump kicking that punter off on that kick return that one time.
Still one of my greatest. That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
It's pretty damn funny still. That poor punter.
Poor punter. Punters get no respect out here.
No. Well, they can't make field goals, so I mean, that's why.
Exactly.
But Kyle, have you been struck with the injury wave at all?
Oh, absolutely. Obviously, the big one for me was Jordan Love going out week 1. I follow this sports medicine doctor named Deepak Chopra, and he's a fantasy player. He gives out little different his opinion as a orthopedic surgeon.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
He's out. He's thinking despite not being on the IR, it's a week 4 to 5 return. Walker's somebody else that's out on me. He's thinking a week 4 return too as well for me. Jordan Addison's been out for a while. We'll see when he comes back too. Debo got hurt. All signs are pointing Debo, depending on practice this week, should play. Kittle's the same way. But yeah, I mean, the strength of my team was always my wide receiver room, and that's what I'm getting kicked in the butt right now. What the injury bug is. I'm running out of options.
I'm at the end of my rope, guys.
Yeah. Where I'm at.
Damn, dude, like you got hit harder than anybody else. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
That's rough.
So many games. It would be nice if they would just put someone on the 4-week IR. I could pick up somebody to help me until then, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about Jordan Addison.
He hasn't played, so he's easy to forget about.
Yeah. I mean, he had a pretty decent rookie season last year, so.
Very.
It's too bad he went down the way he did.
Yeah.
I mean, he also can't drive. So.
I mean, neither does Tyreek Hill.
There's that.
I mean, that's why his nickname is Riding Dirty.
That makes sense.
Blake, how's your injury report looking?
Honestly, all of you are commiserating, and I'm just sitting over here like I'm benefiting from all of this. So, most of the injuries did not really affect me in the sense that I lost players, but I've got Zach Charbonnet, so that helps out because Kenneth Walker hurted his side. And then I got Devonta Smith. So all four AJ Brown taking some time. So I'm happy. I mean, knock on wood that I don't get bit by the injury bug, but
I don't think you get to talk about Zach Charbonnet after last week.
Yeah, you said you wanted to get rid of him.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I know.
I
I also said that one of the reasons I don't is because Kenneth Walker is injury prone.
Well, that and you don't want to be on your wife's shit list too. So.
Whatever.
Yeah, there is also
Which, by the way, I got Walker from Blake, so yeah, fuck you.
Has Kenneth Walker had a healthy season ever?
Nope.
He played like 3 years.
His rookie year was his healthiest season. I think he played like 13 games.
Yeah.
He didn't start the year.
Yeah,
He was
that's why he
injured
only
in
played 13
training
games.
camp. Yeah.
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 He what's now known as Marshawn Lloyd disease.
Yep.
Big yikes.
That guy has a different injury every day, I swear to God. It's like a word of the day calendar just pop up with like, oh, my ankle, my knee, my meniscus.
Yeah, that's why they're just like, you know what, we're just going to throw you on the IR so you can add as many injuries as you want, and then we'll decide when you're coming back.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and I mean, I was just scrolling through my team really fast, and I was like, oh, maybe I did avoid some injury bugs. Maybe my team is just not good. But then I looked over, and Raheem Mostert has been out. He had a couple plays week 1, and then went down, unfortunately. Which leads me to leave Tony Pollard and Devin Singletary as my main backs now. Which is only hurting though, because now Achane is getting touches, and Achane is showing his. Shut up. But Achane is able to show just how good of a back he really is. Which he got touches last year, but that last week he had an amazing game, even against the tough Buffalo defense.
Yeah, somehow he outscored James Cook, who had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, so seeing that just hurts Raheem Mostert's value, because being injury prone like he is, I mean, last year was his first really clean season. He's always had something going on. Yeah. But he had a 20 touchdown season last year because he was healthy,
21.
which was great for me. But now injuries have come back to haunt the guy. And he's just getting older too. I think he's 31?
He's 31. He's the oldest running back in the league.
Yeah, so that doesn't help either. The older you are, the longer injuries are going to be. So.
Yeah, and he's had a long.
32.
Is he 32 now?
32.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually having a discussion with Scotty about this the other day, just saying there aren't 30-year-old because I was telling him what traditional fantasy analysts say, what age is the running back cliff or the age cliff for the running backs? They say it's 27. Most of the running backs in the league right now are 27.
No, that's pretty old. That's pretty young. But.
You would think, but I mean, they get worked like workhorses. They need to peak by 24, 25 for them to maximize their value. And and Scotty was saying no, they're the age cliff is 30. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? How many 30-year-old running backs are out there? And he listed a bunch.
As soon as they hit
29,
29, they throw them like garbage.
29. Yeah, Mixon is 29. Henry, I think, is 29.
Connor's 29.
Connor's 29. Mostert, like I said, is the oldest one.
Mixon's 28.
Yeah, well, he may as well be 29.
Yeah, he may as well be 32.
May as well be. McCaffrey is getting close to the 30-year-old mark, and all these guys are getting
really
older. Yeah, dude, he's been around for a while.
Jeez. Yeah, that's right. He was with Carolina for a long time.
Yeah, he was at Carolina for 5?
At least 5.
Yeah.
I don't remember 100%, but
I just remember watching him at Stanford. It was pretty amazing to watch.
Yeah, the only thing that they were talking about when he was coming out of college is just his size and whether or not he'd be able to hold up the NFL. And he was a rookie sensation, but then injuries started to kick his ass, and then
28.
Yeah. And then last year, he was fine. record-setting fucking year, and then I take him in another league, and then he just starts to get hurt all over again. I've never had Christian McCaffrey on any team before, and now I know why, because I was always afraid of that. And Kyle Shanahan's a fucking dick for not declaring him on the injury report before, like, right before Monday Night Football, too. What a chode.
That was very, very last minute. Like, that was painful to see that, because, I mean, that hurt Scott last week 1 because he has Christian McCaffrey, and so come to find out Monday afternoon.
It didn't, though. He had
Basically,
McCaffrey
yeah.
out before Sunday, though.
He wasn't out. He was questionable.
He was
all
listed as
week.
questionable, yeah.
Well, I know, but I think
Doubtful
Scotty
would've
already
helped.
knew.
He did.
That
he had
wasn't
him in the
gonna
starting lineup, dude.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he had him in the
yes, he
starting
did.
lineup.
Oh.
He still won.
Yeah,
But-
like, you know why he had him in the starting lineup? Because it wasn't announced in time, and he had nobody
Yeah.
else to go because it's Monday night. And the
Oh, yeah,
shitty
because
thing
they were
is-
going to look into that. Because Mason, after the game, said, "Oh, I found out Friday."
Yeah, exactly. Those are the Vegas bettors you're pissing off, dude. You're gonna get your ass fucking, you get your kneecaps taken out doing that shit.
Ah,
I'm back.
don't talk like that.
You know,
But-
gotta help out the boomer parents.
Piggybacking with the injuries, though, I mean, that just, especially with the Dynasty format, as we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast, it helps tremendously with that because Isaiah Pacheco getting hurt, it didn't affect me personally, but it might help me because I have Carson Steele. So, yeah, they just went out and signed Kareem Hunt, and we'll see, but they're still saying Steele's going to get first reps right now. So we'll see what that does for him. If he turns into a random sleeper RB1, RB2, RB3 low end, I'm happy with it. I mean, it was a last minute pickup before the season started just to be on the taxi squad with the rookies. But an injury can easily turn somebody from a nobody to a somebody like that. They just get that one opportunity to shine. And as Justin found out, you can turn a nobody into a second round future draft pick and see what you can do with it. Because, I mean,
he's good.
Correct, but once McCaffrey's back, he's going to drop right back down to being a
Yeah,
backup.
nothing. I know.
Yeah.
That's why I sold on him. Like,
Yeah, so I mean, but that's why Dynasty is so much more fun, and these injuries are way more relevant now, because most of the time we would just drop them, forget about them, pick up a new player. McCaffrey's out for the year, drop him, forget it. Well, you don't get that option. He's got to sit on your IR spot and take that up for however long. So
that's kind of the thing. Like, I have McCaffrey, like I said, in another league of mine. I was some dude, another manager, text or messaged me today, asking if I was willing to package CMC with like another running back, a wide receiver, a linebacker on his team. I was like, I don't know. I guess I could think about it, but then I looked at his team. I was like, fuck no, I'm not gonna trade him. Like, but it's like, it's a redraft league, so I mean, like, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna sit there with him sitting on the bench for upwards of 6 weeks.
yeah,
So
half
I
the
guess,
season.
like, I'm probably gonna just hang on to him, see if he like breaks late like a fucking horse at the Kentucky Derby. But
Back end playoff
I'm
push.
hoping. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, it doesn't make or break like my team because I drafted heavy in running back, so I guess it's helpful in that regard. But I also have Mixon, which kind of fucking sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Injury prone bastard.
Kind of.
Well, I feel bad for CMC because he's kind of an underdog story, but also it's like, dude, you just gotta.
How is he?
He's Ed's son. He's
He's a
Ed's son.
legacy.
He's
Yeah,
a legacy kid. There's no underdog.
I think this is racial again.
Overall,
I'm pulling for the kid. He's a white running back in this black man's world. Like,
Okay, hold on. Let me mark the time here. 29.
29-20.
I'm paraphrasing.
I was going to say, that went way
That's not
beyond
you
what I
said.
said.
You know what I
might as well
think's
didn't
funny
have
though?
said Steve Austin.
we're gonna get
What's funny
canceled.
though is Ryan keeps writing down what time to go back and edit, but if you guys watch when we post these, he goes, "Oh, I gotta go back and edit that," and it's still in the post.
I said nothing offensive. I said
I know.
nothing offensive. None of that.
I mean,
was
it
offensive.
is
It doesn't paint anybody. We're all just joking. None of this should be taken seriously. We're just busting balls. So if you're going to complain about this, all 32 of you who watch this,
leave it in the comments.
Yeah, leave it in the comments. Call
yeah,
me out.
leave a comment of who had the most racist comment this week.
Me. It'll be me.
I would just like to
Probably.
say that Justin Crew's views do not reflect the Desert Dynasty Football Podcast, so solely his own. Any hate, please go towards him.
I represent me and the entire league because I'm the commissioner, and all.
What I say is a
all
representation
views
of
and
everybody.
beliefs expressed in this podcast are 100% endorsed by the League of Ordinary Gentlemen.
He was the 8th overall pick, not the 7th. My bad.
McCaffrey?
God, get it right, damn.
Yeah. So don't tell me.
But it's an underdog. Underdog.
Shut it.
Oh yeah, total. I mean, I was just saying because he was in his combine, he wasn't rated very well, and
No, he did. I don't even think he went to the combine, did he?
I think he did because I remember I think he had when he did
he
his
even
bench.
need to go to the combine?
I was going to say, I think
Yeah,
he
he
did,
for sure.
because I think he was a combine standout. That's why he went shot up.
Yeah,
His
And I
pro
think
day was really good, too.
I think it was
Yeah.
specifically bench because he busted out some crazy amount of reps for how small he was.
He's just a great college player because he was amazing catching the ball. He was really good at running the ball. And he's coached by Harbaugh, who's a really good college coach. Hate him or love him, like he's just really good at coaching.
Oh, he did go to the combine. He had a 4.48 40.
It's pretty
The
good.
fourth time
Good.
amongst his position group. But it could be a Justin team though. That's too slow, right?
It's too slow for Xavier Worthy, that's for sure.
Yes, I do value speed. Not like Al Davis, but I do value speed.
I'm saying Blake Corum dropped for you because of his 40 time.
I do love seeing Xavier Worthy
Yeah,
starting for Andy's team and a 4.3er over there.
Anyway,
Was
That's kind of why I favorite Trey Benson because he ran like a 4.35.
I'm kind of looking through the league in general, and obviously outside of like the big hitters we talked about, most everybody else is kind of okay. You know, both Beatties don't really seem to be hit. I mean, Scott obviously because he had CMC, and obviously he addressed that
Well,
issue.
Andy has Pacheco.
Andy got Pacheco.
Yeah, well, and, whatever.
And
I
whatever's
want
wrong
Andy
with
to
St.
lose, I
Brown.
get that, but I mean,
Yeah, it's one guy though, unlike me, where I'm sitting here with 4.
I know I'm not saying it's fair. Like obviously you have the most. You're affected the most.
So.
And he's
Yeah.
got potential Amon-Ra St. Brown issues.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra had a
Andy
good game
over
last
there.
week.
No, he did, but he got hurt.
He's
He got hurt in it.
in week 3, so we'll probably give up a ton of yards to him and he'll get right back on track.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay.
I mean, the biggest thing, because I know the big conversation point last year for a lot of injuries was turf. We saw a lot of Achilles issues. We saw a lot of knees. Is that still something that they're talking about, or are these different kinds of injuries that you would see just with impacts, or what do you guys think? Are these injuries kind of tied to the whole conversation of turf, or is this something different?
Well, Mixon's was due to an illegal tackle all the way around that they
haven't called that
blatantly
fucking
called.
penalty once.
Tackle?
And the hip drop tackle that they decided to take out this year that they haven't called yet, and they should have because it had every criteria of a hip drop tackle in that play.
It's
But-
injured 2 players this year already.
Absolutely, and it still hasn't been called. So what's the point of banning it if we're not going to call it?
I don't know.
We're
But how many
calling-
I was gonna say,
formations
that
have
was
been
the
called?
whole reason
Exactly.
was to promote player safety, and they haven't called it. So
And
Feels
how many
useless.
illegal formations have there been called? I mean, there was 5 in the very first game of the season alone, to the point where the coach was
just a
like,
rough
"Tell him
estimate,
to just
they
take
called
one
about
step forward."
135.
Yeah, in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And 0 hip drops with 2 injuries. Come on.
But I think like some of those injuries are like soft tissue injuries, and like Cooper Kupp went out with he wasn't even touched. That was a non-contact injury, so that doesn't bode well for him.
That ankle again.
I think AJ Brown, his is a hamstring, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, that's the shit that kept fucking Justin Jefferson out all year last year. So,
Yep, hamstring expected to miss a couple weeks.
yeah, that's going to be tough. A lot of those other guys, it's going to be tough. Like, most of them are put on IR, but a lot of these guys, like, they're kind of not putting them in that designation, or at least they're not even putting them on the out designation. Are you guys noticing that?
Yeah,
You're not
questionable.
seeing a lot of guys that are out, so you can't even put them on the
Questionable.
IR spot. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of frustrating.
That's what I was saying. Like with Love.
Yeah, but I think that has more to do with them publishing stuff once it actually hits the injury reports, because I don't think they've been filed until Wednesday. So I think it'll update then.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not to keep talking about my team, but just with Raheem Mostert, it's a chest injury. So I mean, who knows what that could have
What
been.
What is his injury?
They just listed as a chest injury.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Pretty-
Dolphins ruled out
Pretty
Mostert due to a chest injury he suffered early week 1. Most people don't play through the injury he suffered and added that the short week was a factor, being ruled out against the Bills.
I mean, that's a positive note.
McDaniel added that my sense is it's not something that time won't take care of. However, I'm definitely not going to make him worse by putting him at risk.
I mean, why would he? Like, they run so many guys in that backfield. There's no reason to do that.
Yeah,
But
well, I
Jeff
mean-
Wilson was also banged up, so they had to activate, what's his nuts? The other running back, the rookie guy out of the 3rd round this year. I forget his name. He's on my team, and I don't know his name.
You have
Jalen Wright.
half-
Jalen
you
Wright,
have
that's
half
it.
of the Miami running back squad.
I have half of the running back squad. That's right. I have the best one and the rookie this year.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I'm investing in a positive game plan, I think. I don't know. I'm full of shit. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
But that also ties into the Tua injury, too. They're not going to throw the ball as much.
You don't believe in Skylar Thompson?
No.
Ye of little
Gotta
faith.
have faith.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't have anyone on the Miami offense except for Raheem Mostert, so it doesn't really matter to me.
That's
You have faith in who?
They're better off bringing back. Oh my God.
Flacco!
No, Marino.
Snoop.
Marino? You out of your fucking mind?
I'd rather
You not
see
seen the commercials?
back
They're
there.
gonna call Ryan Tannehill back up.
Yeah, why
Oh,
not?
Tannehill's bad. Like
Trash.
He was good 1 year.
Well,
He was good for 2 years in Tennessee.
Tennessee, not Miami.
just name
I
a
hate him in Miami.
just name a random former 49er QB over the last 5 years. The guy came from Shanahan's offense. Pick one of them, CJ.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh,
I was just about to say, Jimmy Garoppolo.
bad. I'd rather have
I
Trey
have-
Lance.
I have a good question for everybody, and it's not necessarily geared towards fantasy football. I would like to start kind of opening this up to a little football conversation as well. Do
It's
we
better be a good
think?
question.
Do we think? And I get that it's the tail end of his career.
Oh,
Do we
yeah.
think Derek Carr has finally found his home? Dude's balling out over there in New Orleans.
No.
He has
For 2 games. He had a whole
consecutive.
season.
He has 4 consecutive 65-yard touchdown pass games. 4.
Okay. What about the previous games to that last year where he had essentially the same roster?
Captain
I don't know.
Check.
I mean, that's
what he was last
That's
year.
fair. Yeah.
The difference
I mean,
is they have Kubiak's kid, and they actually know how to run an offense, which is amazing.
I would say it's too early to tell.
okay, that's fair.
That's the point that I was making.
That's
I
fair.
Is
think
that it's way too early to tell.
if you mention that name to NFL fans, they're still going to tie him to the Raiders.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't think that he's found his home. No, I absolutely don't. This is, like they said,
I mean,
it's way
he
too
beats
early to
every
tell. But
category
like,
with the Raiders.
people have
And-
to figure out this offense still. Like, no offense that starts the year is the same at the end of the year. So
True.
Oh, and Alvin Kamara's doing Alvin Kamara things. Did he have 5 touchdowns this week?
4.
4? Yeah, still.
He was amazing.
Yeah. Alvin Kamara coming back into previous seasons where he's balling right now. Again, only week 2. We still have plenty of season left. But early signs show Alvin Kamara possible RB1. I would go as far as to say our possible RB1 out of Alvin Kamara right now.
No, I
Depends
think
on if the Saints stay where they're at, or if they turn back into the Saints
Between
of.
him and J.K. Dobbins.
Ooh.
I think
Blowing the dust off the shelf.
I think J.K. Dobbins is an RB1. I mean, look at Harbaugh's history within the NFL. He's done it. Think about those 49er teams.
Yeah, we'll see. Injuries are already starting to stack up, so there's no way to tell how these guys are going to shake out. Like, fucking Jacobs this week just went batshit crazy because the Colts can't stop the run to save their lives.
Oh yeah.
So he had a great game. A-Chan's putting up great receiving numbers. I don't know about him being a running back, but
Well, to go back to Jacobs, it's not like they really had any other option. They had Will Levis at quarterback.
no, they.
Hey, he
had
finally
Malik
got
Willis.
his touchdown.
No,
Finally
they
got a touchdown.
had the other former running back that plays QB, like what's his name in Baltimore?
Lamar Jackson.
Oh, well, still, they didn't have much option. They had to dump it off to the running back. I mean, that whole play style is tailored to what Jacobs can do. So, like, if they're not actually trying to push the ball down the field, you can just use him as a workhorse, throw it to him, let him run it. Like, you get that guy in space, and that's where he's good. He's just not a between the tackles kind of guy, in my opinion.
Correct.
So that tailors well to his strengths.
And that's something that, like, Chicago should start developing, too. Caleb Williams is getting massacred over there. 7 sacks this last game. They need
They had
to
a
start
whole
just...
off season to build an offensive line for him. They chose
And they
not
did
to.
not. Yeah.
They-
But, I mean, they should be having Swift right there for a screen pass, dump emergency, just boom, get rid of the ball instead of taking that 7th sack of the game.
There's only
It's
one
insane.
issue with that game plan. Is that Swift sucks. He's terrible.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Objectively,
fair.
he's been bad the majority of his career.
Yeah, well, he had a pretty decent year at Philly last year, but they also had one of the best offensive lines. So
Well, I was going to say, they paired a bad offensive line with a running back that does not block well.
Yeah. Well, did you see the offensive line on the right side just let basically the defender have free reign to Caleb Williams on like every play? I watched a highlight and they circled it. But speaking of Caleb Williams and being a rookie, how's everybody's rookies picks doing so far this year? Anybody having some massive standouts? I know someone's got something to say after last week. Oh, he's
boy.
muted. Justin, you're muted.
I said a lot of F words and C words, so good thing I was muted. That's not true at all. I would like to revisit a question that I was asked last week. How do I feel about drafting Marvin Harrison at 1.1?
There you go. There you go.
I would like to revise my opinion and say, yeah, I am very happy with his performance this week. A nice rebound from the first week. I can't easily explain what the hell the difference between the weeks were, but like I honestly think they just phased him out because he probably wasn't like participating in practice like they wanted him to. That's the only thing I could think of. So,
Or
I got
calling
a
out your
kick-ass
offensive coordinator can do that
Yeah,
too.
well, Oko is fine. Like the only reason they lost the week 1 is because they were proving a point, and then he scores all his points in the first quarter, and then they don't even need him the rest of the game. So he showed ridiculous talent, and it was like scary good. Like the catches he was making. Like he started dragging his feet before he even caught the goddamn ball with that first touchdown.
Oh, in the end zone? Yeah.
Yeah, and he stretched Armstrong to get the second one. Like I was very pleased with what he did. It was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't watching the game, but I did see some. I was keeping an eye on stats, and what was it? He had 2 catches, 100+ yards, and 2 touchdowns.
No, 2 for 85 and 2 touchdowns. That was efficiency right there.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Efficiency.
Yeah.
He made me feel good, like I didn't waste my time with that pick.
I'm still standing by my 1.2. Malik Neighbors, like I said, even with Danny Dimes, being Danny Dimes, put up 25 points this week for me. Way more than Xavier Worthy has put up so far, period. So I'd say still a better draft pick right now. Only time will tell. Obviously, in the long game, I know everybody hates that I took Neighbors instead of Worthy since I have
I
Rice
don't hate
and
it.
Mahomes.
I don't
Uh,
hate it. He's only Danny Dimes when he's good, by the way.
oh, I know, and
Okay.
he was good this last game. It's not his fault that
It's always his
7 field
fault.
goals beat him, and they lost Graham Gano on the first kick of the game. So
Because they don't fucking have a backup kicker on their roster. They're a terrible organization.
yeah, and the punter can't kick field goals for shit.
Yeah.
Which also wanted to bring up, Kyle, during draft day, we made a little trade so you could grab your quarterback, I believe.
I did. That is correct.
Did you happen to start him this week?
I have not elevated him off Texan squad. I'm going to roll with Old Man Rogers, which worked out for me this past week. Get a couple of touchdown passes, so that was really good. Oddly enough to running backs, which I really don't care. But yeah, no, not yet. I'm just going to keep those guys on the bench and ride and see. Shocker, a position I don't need. I have the other two are wide receivers, but
Yeah.
it wasn't a very deep running back class this year, so
No.
I think I'll
I
continue
think
to just kind of see what Daniels can do before I make that kind of decision.
Which I made that mistake of being like, hey, Keon Coleman's going into a really good situation. He has the possibility of being the WR1 over there. Guess how many catches Mr. Coleman had this week?
Does it rhyme with hero?
Yeah.
Hero to zero, just like that.
He's still a good receiver.
Great receiver. The issue is he also only had one target.
Yeah,
So
Game script, dude. Game script. There was no passing yards at all in this game.
there really wasn't. I mean, it wasn't just Keon Coleman not getting any passes. I mean, Shakir didn't get many. Kincaid didn't really get much. It was very much a run-heavy offense for Buffalo this last week. Because I mean, they were successful. Why go away from it? So, just hoping that it's just some rookie getting the. Gotta just loosen it up a little bit. We'll hopefully we see him improve.
I sense
It'll be
fear.
really
in
nice.
Bruins.
I just bring it up because my weakest part of my roster are my whiteouts, and so I needed Keon Coleman to have a good year this year to show Mr. Rookie is able to perform. But when you have a total of what four catches in 2 weeks, not great.
I would give it time.
Yeah,
He'll-
still like we've mentioned it before, really early in the season still.
Yeah,
Hopefully, we have time to
I think
develop
He'll be okay.
more passing opportunities. But
For sure.
Mr. Calvin Ridley's showing out. Hang on, I'm hanging on, man.
Hey,
Man on the edge, dude.
you might have found a home in Tennessee.
Possibly.
So
Oh, but goddamn, aren't those fucking Titans are like a quarterback away from being good, aren't they?
yeah,
Pretty much. I mean,
Will
even
Levis
Tony
hit some of
Pollard
them?
had a decent game.
Did you guys see some of the throws that he made? Or didn't make, I should say?
I was gonna say, did he
Holy-
make any?
Holy Christ. I mean, he's not as bad as Bryce Young, who got benched this week, which still blows my mind, but
that's just a terrible organization. Period.
Tough.
That's what that is with the Panthers.
I haven't watched any of their games, but I really do want to watch it. I mean, at least I did because I wanted to see how terrible they were,
Why?
just like with my own eyes.
You-
Apparently, like week one, like the offensive line was getting torched, and he had no time to throw the ball or like go through his reads or anything like that. But this last week, that was not the case, and he was missing guys terribly. So I guess it doesn't surprise me that they benched him. But I mean, like, do you think they're giving up on this dude like 1 year into it?
Well, you've got a different regime, right? That this coach didn't pick him.
You think it's a Josh Rosen issue?
Why not? It's kind of worked out for our hometown team so far.
True. I mean, they are heading for the number 1 overall pick again.
And they can go
Well, I
have
mean-
Shedeur Sanders. Have fun with that piece of garbage.
Ooh, God, come on, man! Like, there's not a lot of quarterbacks coming out this year.
I know.
Quinn Ewers, like, who's the other? Any other one? Like,
Sanders will be coming in. Maybe Archie Manning.
Arch Manning? Oh
No,
no.
he's got one more year.
He'll probably do another year because I don't even think he's a starter at Tennessee or Texas. I don't remember which college he's at.
I think he's about to be.
Well, the Quinn Ewers is the other guy. Like,
Yeah,
he's the guy that's going to be coming out.
But anyway,
Blake, how's those rookies turning out for you on your 15 first-round picks that you had?
Not great.
Concise. I like it. Right to the point.
it's not good, but not bad. Could be better. Could be worse.
Bad. Next question.
Gone. Gone.
We know you're busy over there. I was just checking in to make sure you're still alive.
It's very funny.
Like Tariq Hill said, gone. That guy got to go. Gone.
I mean, I only talked about one of my rookies, so I mean, I'm not going to comment on Caleb Williams yet. It's still way too early in his career. Obviously, I want him to do better than Jaden Daniels because I have money on it, but I mean, it's not looking great right now. So
Need an O-line.
The Bears
Yeah.
are still the Bears.
I know
The Bears are still the Bears.
they're always going to be the
And
Bears.
I still always love bringing it up. The punter has more total yards than their entire offense.
Did he really again?
Yep.
Yep.
Did it again.
Yikes!
It's a
At
bad.
least they
It's
kept it
a,
close
it's,
with Houston.
it's a bad year to have any Chicago's people right now. Right now,
I have
Agreed.
until
too
they
much.
figure out what they got going on.
It's early.
I mean, what, DJ Moore?
Yeah.
That's it.
DJ Moore, Adunze,
Old man Keaton.
Old Man Keenan, Old Man Allen.
So DJ Moore and Adunze.
I
Hey,
mean, full commitment to that is, right?
Come on, who's the running back again? It's DeAndre Swift. right?
DeAndre Swift. Yeah.
DeAndre Swift, and then what's the other guy's name? It escapes me. Herbert? Khalil Herbert?
Yes.
Yeah, and I have the third string guy on my taxi squad who's probably going to get cut after this year. Thanks a lot, Roshan Johnson.
Roshan.
Especially if their coach gets fired, which might happen.
It might. I mean,
And then
he's not a good offensive coordinator.
well, he was a defensive guy, which there's nothing wrong with that.
It is when you're running an offense.
Well, I know, but I mean, it's not terrible if you build the culture and have an idea of physicality that you want. And you don't see that with Chicago. You look at the other defensive-minded coaches, head coaches, like there's a culture of toughness, of this. I mean, you see it with McDermott, right? You see it out here in Arizona with JG. Vic Fangio when he was coaching Denver, like they had an identity. I don't see an identity with the Chicago Bears. Like,
No,
period. And that's
there's-
leading towards Caleb Williams having a terrible season, despite the fact that he's a terrible quarterback anyway.
Well, do you?
I
I watched too much Pac-12 football last year and saw too many.
Whatever.
To me,
Fine.
average football fan.
Fine. This is a 10-year bet, man. Like, we'll see.
It's going to take him 10 years to develop
I
at
don't
this
need
rate.
you piling on too. You're not even part of this, goddammit. How
Hey,
dare you?
But
How
no.
dare you pick a
But
side?
I mean, to make this full circle, right? Like back to the point of what we do this for, is like I think that matters, right? As much as people have the overall consensus of this is a generational talent, where they go affects what's going to happen. And when you have a guy like Caleb, obviously he was number one overall because the team that was usually is there was terrible. This one just happened because of a trade. Because the Bears were sitting at 9 originally. That was their actual own pick. Because isn't that when they took a Doomsday was 9?
8 or 9, I think.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, that's,
Yeah, they were right before. Because Penix went to the Falcons at 9.
yeah.
Hard to forget that shit.
Very hard to forget that one.
I mean, it's anything else too, right? Like you got to look at our league with the way we draft, players. Where they land in real life is we need to put some weight on how we pick.
100%. I mean, it doesn't completely influence how far they should fall, but I mean, like,
Where did you take him? 10-10? 110?
where? Oh, Williams?
Yeah,
I took him at 1-7,
1-7. Okay, but
which is a little high, but I mean, like, he was going a lot higher in other things, but
yeah,
based on our things, like, I turned down the opportunity to take Trey Benson to take him, so
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
can live with that for a little while. But also, like, Benson hasn't looked that good. I'm
Not
okay
yet.
with that so far.
Oh,
But I mean, like, I needed a backup quarterback, and I wanted to take a chance again on the number 1 overall fucking quarterback. Because just FYI for the people out there, I took Bryce Young last year, and I didn't spend any like high draft capital. I took him at like 2.10. Like,
Yeah.
he was just there, and he's like the worst fucking quarterback that's ever lived. So
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'm just not good at this yet.
No, but that's the thing about this position, right? As a whole, it's a gamble. You hope he's the guy. You hope he's the man that's going to sit there and be one of those 32 guys that deserves this position and is more in the top 10 realm that can get you consistently in the playoffs. You're never going to know. All signs point that Bryce should have been that his career in college at Alabama. All points, same thing for Caleb Williams. All points, the same thing with Jaden Daniels. All that stuff. Big time college programs had the pedigree, had the Heisman, had the personal accolades. But you never know. I mean, I know it's a gamble for me with Daniels because he went to Washington. That's a terrible franchise. Ever since Joe
Not
Gibbs,
a great fan.
the third time Joe Gibbs left the team as a coach, they haven't
Well,
done
I
it.
mean, he's like, he's only like he just had his numbers blew up in college, like for what 1 year, I think. He
No,
had
he
like a
had two
5-year.
at LSU.
Did he have 2 good years? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, like, he played college forever, and like the only knock on him is that he runs a lot and he's kind of fragile. So
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see how that plays out. I mean, if somebody gets like a career-ending injury between the two quarterbacks, like I think we can go ahead and call it off. Like we don't need to run that through.
No, yeah.
But
I agree.
but yeah, like you were saying, like obviously where somebody ends up, like you don't completely discount the talent, but you have to factor it in.
Oh, correct.
I mean, I was very high on Drake May coming into this year. And then he went to the Patriots, and I was like, fuck it, god damn it, now I can't even take him because
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted him to go to the Vikings. That'd been fucking awesome.
Mhm.
But you never get what you want. So
Oh, exactly.
You can't always get what you want, but you get what you need. No one get that. Okay, I guess that's just
I got it.
it's a good song.
Thank you.
I know the song. Like I get it. Like
Oh,
I didn't even
No
get
one
what
was
I
saying
needed.
anything, so I just was like, okay, I guess just
Acknowledge me.
acknowledge.
All right, hostess with the mostest. Do we have any questions or comments from week 2 that we need to address before we wrap up?
Well, just checking out our Spotify. It looks like it's a little quiet over there, which is fine.
Yeah.
So nothing coming up over there, but we did have one comment again from our YouTube channel, which had nothing to do with football, but they were asking waffles, pancakes, or French toast.
Ooh, that's a good question.
It's a really good question.
Who's the
What?
user? Who asked the question? Give him a
We'll
shout out.
read it out. It's the Groovy Guru, who I believe is Justin.
I had an idea who it was. So let's
Hey, guess what? I'm the only one involved, so suck a dick.
let's get the commenter some props. So
I'm the one asking the damn hard questions out here, okay?
Asking the hard questions, and I'll start us off, and I'm going to say none of those. I'm a biscuits and gravy type person, but if I had to choose between those three, give me a good waffle.
Nick's on
Also,
mute.
Nick, if you're trying to talk, you might be muted.
Nick, you're muted, yeah.
They've got my bad. I forgot I had it up. They got the built-in cup for waffles all day. They got the built-in cup for the syrups already, so that way it helps absorb it. It's perfect, man. Pancakes, they just slide right off.
I like the scientific explanation behind it.
Yeah, I got you guys.
It's very
I like
cool.
it too.
Kyle?
What were the 3 options again? Oh, thank
Waffles, pancakes, or French toast?
You know
Oh,
damn well what they are.
pancakes. I am a pancake guy. Let me a good old short stack of pancakes. Actually, as a kid, when the teachers ask you what you want to be when you grow up, I said I want to be a lumberjack because I want to eat pancakes and black coffee, drink black coffee all day.
That's hilarious.
Give me a
That's
nice short.
good.
Give me a nice short stack pancakes, baby, all day.
I gotta know, do you lift up the top pancake to butter the pancake underneath?
Yep. Oh yeah.
My
You
man.
have to.
My man.
You have to.
And
I've
then
seen some people just,
I actually lift it up and I pour a little bit of syrup on each one too.
my man.
Fancy.
One last little bit. We'll keep it.
Well, what's
really,
Justin got? What's Justin
Oh,
got?
waffles,
I mean,
100%. For the reason you said, Nick. I like
Yeah.
the syrup pockets.
Yeah.
French toast is too fancy for my taste.
Syrup pockets. That's great.
I'll take fucking Belgian waffles. I'll eat Lego my Egos. I don't give a shit.
Lego.
I love it all.
All right, we'll keep this last little bit short here. This upcoming week, week 3. Who you're keeping eyes on? Is there?
Well, I'm gonna take my first L of the year this week for sure. Especially with that draft or that trade that Justin just did with Scotty.
You're welcome.
Too many injuries for me, but I am keeping an eye on. Obviously, I got to keep an eye on Joe Mixon for the rest of the week and hope that he bypasses any sort of injuries and I can have at least 2 good running backs or 1 good running back and a semi-decent one start this week instead of DeAndre Swift. So that's my other option.
Yeah.
Or I take a shot at the dark and bring up Carson Steele and hope to God he's actually RB1 this week for the Chiefs.
He's a fullback, just FYI. He's labeled as
I'm
fullback.
I'm aware.
Okay.
I'm excited to see what happens.
I'm not. I mean, my team is whatever. Like, I'd like to see Marvin Harrison do whatever he can do next week. But I mean, like honestly, the most intriguing player that I think this week is Andy Dalton. To me, I don't know what. Like, I think he instantly makes the Carolina Panthers better. Like, he gives.
Rocket.
Well, I mean, I don't like him as a fucking quarterback, but he is light years better than Bryce Young, and he instantly turns those 2 receivers into fantasy options.
Yeah.
Before they were nothing. Now you have Thielen and Deontay Johnson. Like, they were easy. Obviously, I would, if I had like an opening for like something, and I really needed a receiver, I would probably look into one of those 2 if they weren't on anybody's team.
Yeah.
It should be interesting. Like, honestly, I'm afraid to pick the Raiders over them because of Dalton starting, because I think that they could probably beat the Raiders, because I don't think the Raiders are all that good.
No, especially when it's it's hard.
Minshew Mania.
It's in Vegas. Who knows? The new black hole, I guess you could say. I think mine I'll be keeping an eye on for is old man Aaron playing Thursday night on a short week. Can his old 40-year-old ass handle that?
Who are they playing?
The Patriots.
Ooh.
Which
Patriots
is
have a good defense.
They play hard. Gerard Mayo's got them playing hard. And
they play to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, they went this week in overtime against Seattle. Why not?
And that was a tough game for the Patriots. And coming off of a short week for them too.
Yeah, and my comment too for a watch out is, how about Sam Darnold?
I was just about to bring that up.
Playing in Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna just talk about.
He's got 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio right now, and clearly Kevin O'Connell trusts him because to have the balls to make that pass on first down on your own 1-yard line, JJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
I mean, that was
97 yards.
He's got trust in that guy.
And it looked so easy for him too.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps that he's the best receiver in the league.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he put on the money, and he had 2 guys. He was double covered, and he put it right. He put it perfectly where JJ can make a play on it. And look what happened.
Darnold never really had like a fair shot at the beginning of his career, dude. Like Adam Gase
It was a jet.
Pretty much ruined his fucking life.
Yeah, I mean, he was a psycho. So.
Yeah. I mean, outside my team, I was saying watch Sam Darnold. That guy is putting in work. He's just in the first 2 weeks. I'm early again. I've said it many times now. Very early predictions right now, but he is putting his name in for a potential MVP or comeback player of the year.
I give him comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
No.
MVP, like, yeah. Honestly, you got more on Darnold? Sorry.
Oh, that was really all I had. It was just.
No, I mean, I'm just looking at his stats, right? I mean, over 200 yards passing both the first 2 games, the 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. He's running the ball when he needs to, and he's staying upright. I mean, he only had 3 sacks against San Francisco, arguably one of the best defenses in the league. But week 1 playing the Giants, only 1 sack given up. You give any quarterback an opportunity to stand upright.
Yeah, I mean, it shows you who they can be, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, just as a quick aside, not just a player, but a team. Are the Saints as good as they've shown the past couple weeks against Philly next week?
Like we said
I'm
earlier,
intrigued
only
to
time
watch
will
that,
tell.
for sure.
I think they're for real. I really do. I think having
Is Derek Carr our Lord and Savior?
I don't think he's the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, no. You know, the Patriots,
Alvin Kamara sure is.
Patriots State of, Fresno State, but
Not Catholic. Knock that shit off.
whatever. I don't go to that stuff anymore. Anyway, I mean, but third year of this coach, right? Second, having a full season under his belt, and then the offense, you see him taking more chances. I mean, I had Carr last year with my TV.
I think a lot of people did.
He was checking down a lot. He was getting what the defense took him, and this year he's making throws down the field.
Yeah, I just think it'd be interesting to watch.
Players or just understanding the offense better now. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right.
But week 3 will be interesting. A lot of really strange, I guess might call them upsets for week 2. It's going to be another interesting week 3, especially with a lot of people going down. Teams having to make adjustments early with their offenses, even with some defenses. So I guess we'll kind of see what happens week 3. But we'll just kind of wrap this up here. Whoever's listening, thanks for listening. Those on YouTube, thanks for watching us.
We love you.
And we love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions or just want to hit us up, you can go ahead and leave a comment on our YouTube or Spotify. Shoot us over an email, which is over at desertdynastyfootball@gmail.com. We'd love to read those off, answer those, or just go over whatever you had to say. But yeah, boys.
You can talk about more breakfast foods if you want.
Talk about more breakfast foods, or if you have a go-to like diner that you like.
What's your favorite kind of sandwich? I don't care. Like,
just leave comments. We'll read them.
What kind of juice are you? Orange, apple, mango. Let's go. Figure it out. Whatever.
grapefruit.
Orange.
Just throw us out. We're here to have fun. So.
Sunny D.
Yeah.
Well, we just want to interact with whoever's listening out there. So if you have anything, shoot us a message either on YouTube, Spotify, shoot us an email. And yeah, I mean, that's our week 2. We'll see you guys week 3.
Oh, yes, I mean.
Bye.